James Packer has lost billions, and from Macau, how he's about to risk everything that's left to save the once mighty Packer empire.
The biggest roll of the dice of James Packer's life. Will it pay off?
Now to the man who's taking the biggest gamble of his life and possibly putting his family's fortune on the line. James Packer has already lost more than $4 billion thanks to the global financial crisis. His next deal, however, could make or break the Packer empire. Tonight in this exclusive investigation, Brian Seymour looks at Mr. Packer's latest casino venture in the new Las Vegas, the Chinese territory of Macau, where corruption, murder and money are the hottest games in town.
You'd have to wonder about the ethics of any company when a substantial part of their profits depends upon receiving stolen goods.
Luck be a lady tonight.
One of the senior executives in the industry said that, you know, we were basically running around like drunken sailors for the last few years with all the money we had.
Luck be a lady tonight.
I don't think that is what the Chinese government is looking for.
Luck let a gentleman see.
James Douglas Packer, the heir to his father Kerry's billions, has watched his pile of chips dwindle away. Like one of the compulsive gamblers in his string of casinos, he's letting it ride, staking almost everything on a dream and taking the chance of his life. When Kerry Packer passed away in 2005, his son James assumed control of his $7 billion empire. He made money selling PBL media, including Channel 9 and ACP magazines, for $4.6 billion. That kept him on top of the BRW Rich list in 2007, with $7.25 billion. Last year's credit crunch pounded Packer. He dropped $3.5 billion in record time, $6,000 a minute, or $8.6 million a day. Gone his new luxury launch, his private jet, and his father's beloved cattle stations in the top end. Now, in an extraordinary reversal of fortune, James Packer's worth is estimated at less than $3 billion and falling. 60 years after Las Vegas appeared in the desert sands of Nevada, Asia Vegas has risen from the South China Sea.
No wonder they call it Asia's Las Vegas. Last year, Macau welcomed more than 30 million visitors, for the first time more than Hong Kong. Then, the economic crisis hit. Two of the major casinos due to open here this year have shut down, sacked thousands of workers, no one's sure when or if they're going to be going back to work. Only one new major casino resort complex will open here this year, James Packer's aptly named City of Dreams.
Macau is a tiny, rocky outcrop next door to Hong Kong. It too was handed back to China by its Portuguese masters, a few years after the British handed back Hong Kong. The local government then issued a handful of casino licenses. James Packer, eager to step out of his father's shadow, pounced.
Specific to casinos, what you saw in the last few years was the very easy availability of credit, of loans.
Neil Goff is a senior business writer at the South China Morning Post.
James Packer, how well known is Mr. Packer in this part of the world?
The main thing that Packer's known for here is, of course, his stake in the joint venture with Melco, the Melco Crown Company, and the Crown Macau Casino.
In other words, his gambling investments, made to reshape the family tradition of media ownership. How would you compare James Packer's business acumen to, say, his father's or other prominent Australian businessmen?
James Packer's had one big win. He sold out of ACP, Channel 9 at the top of the market. He's bet that money, though, on the casino business, and that will decide whether he's a loser or he's got the goods.
He's focused on the one business it said will always make money. Though when Crown Macau opened in 2007, one local casino operator wasn't so sure.
There are probably some trepidations about the viability of Crown Macau.
And this is James Packer's flagship casino, Crown Macau, a dowdy-looking commercial-type building nestled in amongst run-down apartments in an unfashionable part of town, across the road from a rubbish tip. And it gets grubbier. Prosecutors at the trial of a jailed former minister have linked Crown Macau to allegations of bribery and money laundering.
When you're standing on the outside looking in, it's very challenging to get your head around this, but 70% of all casino revenue in Macau is from the private VIP rooms that you do not see when you walk through the public floor of a casino there.
Sit down. Come on, man. I want to see what happens, mate. Don't pretend you hear all business, huh?
This really is the new jewel in the Packer empire, the new Channel 9 of the family business, if you like. Inside is a tiny gaming floor with perhaps 20 tables, most of them empty, and just a handful of slot machines.
Who's the blackjack? Blackjack? Yes.
There are more guards in here than gamblers. That's because this is all just for show. James Packer makes nearly all of his money here upstairs in the off-limits VIP lounges, where high-stakes gamblers come to squander their fortunes.
Oh, that's some balls on you, boy. Oh, come on, you better win this.
You might ask, why would they come to this casino? The answer is that the owners, Melco, with James Packer as co-chairman, pays someone to bring the big spenders here.
They're called junket operators. Now, these companies find people on mainland China who want to gamble millions of dollars away, and they actually give them a line of credit to do it.
This time last year, James Packer's company dramatically increased the commissions they paid to these junket operators.
Overnight, Crown Macau became the most successful casino in the world on gambling turnover. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it all fell apart in the most brutal fashion.
15 were sentenced to death. 7 committed suicide. All were killed by others. And 20 have got imprisonment between 10 and 20 years.
Dr. Zheng Zhonglu is a leading researcher with the Macau Polytechnic Institute. His latest project stunned the gambling world and vaulted the Chinese government into action. Dr. Zheng studied the cases of 99 high rollers convicted of crimes in China last year. 2/3 of them turned out to be government officials and managers in state-owned enterprises. And how much did they each gamble away in Macau?
The average